Excited because it's the first time that she's been table topics master since I've been a part of Toastmasters. So join me in welcoming Miss Hoa Nguyen.
So we all know that this past Monday was Martin Luther King holiday, so I wanted to share a quote from him. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why Wright, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. It's a good reminder that even though we might lose the small battles, good will persevere and ultimately win. Did you know that in American history there are only three national holidays dedicated to a single person? One is obviously George Washington, the other one is Martin Luther King, and the third is Christopher Columbus. But really, we just celebrate Martin Luther King's holiday. So if you have the opportunity to propose a national holiday for a person or a group of people, who would you propose and why? Stephen, will you please come up and...
Tough question. So who would I propose to have as a national holiday? Can't think of anybody.
Or group of people.
Well, maybe to celebrate the New England Patriots, for example, would be a great team of football players that been through the Super Bowl for 8 times. Because I grew up in New England, I went to school there, and I appreciate how the team have been playing together with a great quarterback, Tom Brady. He's been very good for the team, and every time there's like 2 minutes left before the end of the game, he will make a score, and the team win. And it's just amazing how he pulled out with all those skills that he learned. And that's one of the teams that I would recommend or suggest to have a holiday named after the Patriots.
We all get the day off work, right? With the passing of the Martin Luther King holiday, I heard on the radio recently that his children are actually taking each other to court to fight over his artifacts like his Bible, his personal Bible, and other items. His daughter actually wants to keep it in the family as a family heirloom, right? To pass down in the generations, and the sons are actually trying to fight for possession so that they can sell it. So if you were the judge in this case, what would your ruling be? What would be fair? Will we have Andrew? Come on up then.
Presiding! Judge Andrew is in court. On this side, we have King, the King side, the wife side of the King family, and we have the husband side of the King family. I look at all of you, I look at all the diversity in the room, and I know that everybody here is bound by one core principle that's uniting us all, regardless of color. Your mutual greed. Everybody here wants a little bit part of the King legacy. So as your judge, respectfully and exaltationally, I am going to tell all of you, what's wrong with you, bro? Isn't it funny how, regardless of creed, belief, and even long-time history, when we're surrounded by greatness, there's always a little worm that's going to dig in that core and take something that's beautiful, something that was life-giving. And there's a temptation to dig into it, just a little bit into it deeper and deeper. I tell you, it gets rotten. Greed does that for everybody. And what's most insidious of all is that we, in our history, in recent history, and going back 1,000 years, we have justified our greed in terms of religious creed, for the sake of country, for the sake of race. We justify our greed, our own intentions, our families, because we think that's what's owing to us. Martin Luther King was not a perfect human being, but he had decided very early on, whatever greatness he thought that it was in him was not about him. It was about things bigger than him and around him. So all the kings in the room, all the family members, I want you to consider, if you had to face the millions and millions of people who need your leadership right now, what do you all stand for? Is it for yourself? Or is it to make a bad situation better? Judge over.
Over the weekend, Sunday, like Sunday night to Monday morning, a lot of people, about 40 people or so in Santa Ana, reported that they received a little baggie on their front porch with candy, rocks, and a flyer from the KKK. And business cards to contact them, do you want to join, type of thing. So they're denouncing Martin Luther King. The police say since the flyer made no specific threat and there was no crime, so there was no crime committed, and they couldn't do anything about it. Do you think hate groups should have the constitutional right to assemble just as any other group? Chris, would you come up and give us your... Oh, wait. Huh? Oh, wait, sorry. Am I not saying your name right?
Oh, I'm just here.
Oh, you're...
To check it out.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's his second time.
Chris.
No,
My name is Chris.
It's Alex. That's Alex. Okay, Alex,
yeah.
would you like to participate?
Sure.
Okay, come on up. Sorry, I thought it was Chris.
Should hate groups be allowed constitutional rights?
To assemble.
Okay. I feel that everyone gets a right for a reason. No matter if your opinion is right or wrong, it's how things are. It's like you could be everything. There is no right or wrong. That's the best way to put it. Once you break it down to a philosophical thing, there's no good or evil either. It's whatever morally is accepted. So hate groups could be could be considered as deviant behavior, stuff against the norm. And I might not be able to condone those actions, but I can understand why they do what they did. It could be change. It could be something that they're just not comfortable with. Things that have been brought up in history, it's there's a lot of drastic things that have happened. And for minorities to come into power and to have what they have now, it's a huge change. I recently just was in Portland over the weekend, and that was the first time in my life I've been kind of like snubbed by older white legacy Portlandians. And I could kind of be like, I could see why they did it, because they don't like me there. It's different, and it's changed. It's just deviant for them. I feel that hate groups in general they might not have the right approach to things. It might be a bit too extreme. It might be just harsh. It's rough, but I could see why they are that way. If I was in their position, if I put myself in their perspective, and something I didn't really like, a holiday of someone I didn't like. If there was a holiday for Hitler, I would be like, no, that's terrible. But maybe that's how they see it. I don't know. I try to just see things from every perspective. And yeah.
So in grade school, we used to have to memorize a portion of the Martin Luther King speech. So what my favorite part was, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now for me, this is more relevant now that I have children. And I've been thinking, how would they be judged? as Asians, you know, we have the stereotype of, oh, smart, good at math. No, I'm not very good at math. And, you know, those stereotypes exist. Like in college applications, if they read that you're Asian, they're going to go, oh, you don't have a 4.0. So they pass you, right? Even though you have all these extracurricular activities. So a lot of students are now just leaving it blank and not disclosing, you know, what nationality they are. Mm-hmm. And like on resumes, right? Sometimes they might change their name or whatnot because you get judged by your name, whether or not it sounds Hispanic, sounds black, sounds whatnot. So you automatically get judged. So when in our future will our children not be judged that way? Come share with us what your dreams were when you were younger, or what your dreams are now, or what dreams you have for, you know, your family. Aaron. Ooh.
I do have big aspirations for this society as a whole. More specifically, my family, when I become a father, I definitely dream that my children, A, don't self-segregate, B, learn to understand themselves and other cultures, religions, everything, and not necessarily meaning you have to accept everything and agree with everything, but kind of like he alluded to, at least trying to understand how the human condition and where people are, their mindset is in that given point in time. Obviously, aligned with my frat brother, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King. I also wish that my children will have the chance to be judged on the content of their character and not necessarily their skin color. I also hope that my children can lead the charge and letting other people know about these hardcore issues. Also, I really hope that my children are not caught up in the technological world. If you look at the way the world is shifting, the new paradigm is automated. It is an automated lifestyle that is catered to self, but in the wake of that, people are ignoring human relations and interaction. And so I hope that they will still have the human touch, will still have a great relationship with God, and will not be lost in the sauce, essentially. And I hope that they receive the exaltation that I received from God, and I will receive exaltation in seeing this enacted through my children.
As a Toastmasters club, each of us strive to be a great orator, right? And Martin Luther King was a great orator. He's one of the greatest orators of our times, right? So he didn't always start out that way, right? I mean, his I Have a Dream speech, he did not, that was one of his very greatly remembered speeches. He did not start out with that speech. He started out with a whole different speech. So one of his advisors commented after he gave his I Have a Dream speech, "Then King grabbed the podium and set aside the text to his left. When he was reading from the text, he stood like a lecturer. But from the moment he set the text aside, he took on the stance of a Baptist preacher, which elicits exultation from the audience. You got to connect with the audience. So that's something that for us we should all strive to. And here's another one. The king was extremely well known before he stepped up to the lectern. He had stepped down on the other side of history. So when you get up there, always strive to do your best. And you never know, maybe you'll be in history one day. Thank you. I'm Toastmaster.